welcome back. This is Shirley Davis, and I'm back to do another video. I want to welcome back all my subscribers and welcome to my new viewers. This is a channel where we talk about my top stocks, but we also talk about credit, and we also talk about crypto, and we also talk about other wealth building strategies. So the purpose of this channel is to teach you about financial literacy, but also teach you about the advanced topics such as asset appreciation and other wealth building strategies. But today, or excuse me, tonight, we'll be speaking about Jack Dorsey in his comments about cryptocurrency. The CEO of Square and Twitter makes comments about hyperinflation will happen soon in the US and the world. So it goes on, talk about Twitter and co-founder, crypto advocate Jack Dorsey weighed in on Friday, escalating the inflation in the United States, saying these are the things that are going to get considerably worse. This article is posted on Saturday, October 23rd this week. It will happen in the US very soon. Now, Jack Dorsey, he's a big time world traveler. He travels all around the world, not just United States. So he knows about currency more than a few people do. Jack Dorsey, CEO here is seen here speaking at Bitcoin 2021 convention in Miami, Florida. And again, he is saying hyperinflation is going to change everything. So he tweeted this on late Friday evening. The tweet comes with consumer price inflation running a near 30-year high in the US. And on Friday, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell acknowledged that inflation pressures are likely to last longer than previously expected. So what is the solution? Well, part of the solution is cryptocurrency. Right now, the dollar is a centralized controlled currency, and many people in tech and financial related fields are turning to Bitcoin and other altcoins. So here it is, a billionaire investor, Paul Tudor Jones and others, he called it for a period of rising inflation. Jones told CNBC earlier this week he owns some Bitcoin and sees it as a good inflation hedge. Now, the reason why for some people it's a great inflation hedge is because if the dollar takes a hit, and we're already losing purchasing power seen throughout this year, then it's a good way of store of value. But on the other side, there's some people that are just finding out about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So they're using it as a way to increase their income and increase their passive appreciation of wealth. So there's two different, there's one, the people that are super ultra rich that are using it to preserve their wealth. And then there's the internet people who are using it to grow their wealth from, abnormal gains. I mean, this year in 2021, we've had so many Dogecoin millionaires. We've had Shiba millionaires created. So it's so cool that, Jack Dorsey came out and acknowledged that. And so I just wanted to go to the cryptocurrency prices. We have one of the newest coins, Shiba Inu. It literally jumped in the last week over 54%. 54%. So if we look at Shiba Inu, literally within the last few days, it's jumped up. So like if we look at the last day or so, it jumped up over 6% in the last 24 hours. And then, like I said, in the last week, it's jumped up over 40%. So that is Shiba Inu. Again, this is a new altcoin. It came out, you could see it came out right around in April. This was, last April, it came out. And it came out on the heels of the Dogecoin. So, some people got in and, bought it, and other people ignored it. Why? I mean, the cryptocurrency field is wide open. So let's go back to the charts, and you're going to see very similarly over the last year, Bitcoin has skyrocketed as well. And if we look at the chart, over the last week with Bitcoin, it's been up as well. Now, not as high in the last day because it's come back down, but Bitcoin this week surged to over $66,000. So if you look at Bitcoin over the last week, it surged as much as $66,000. And if you look at over the last month or so, again, it surged over 20% from 42,000 up to $60,000. So this is Bitcoin. And, you know, for all the people that got in sooner than that, they've seen a 4X or 5X. You know, this was a 3X. There were some people that got in last November at $15,000, and they literally 4X their money from $15,000 up to $60,000 just if you got involved with Bitcoin last year's time. Now, I'm going to take a step back and just show you a little bit of the history of Bitcoin, because there's an article about $1 trillion. It says $1 trillion Mt. Gox demise as told by a Bitcoin insider. Now, this was January 31st of 2021. Now, if many people don't know it, Mt. Gox, before there was a fancy exchange like Coinbase or a fancy exchange like Binance, or even BlockFi, any of these fancy new glossy places, there was a place way back in, it says here, 2013, Peter Van Sessen was in a Seattle office working a deal to obtain a North American customs operation for Mt. Gox. He said, we had a caller ID back in the time. Van Sessen said in an interview, and the caller ID said SEC Enforcement Division was like, oh, shoot. You know, so the main U.S. security regulators were asking about questions about a Tokyo-based exchange, and the SEC was working on enforcement action and wanted him to testify in court. So this was what was happening back in 2013. Basically, many of the Bitcoins were lost and stolen at Mt. Gox, but it says since been found. But this was back in the Japanese bankruptcy. It went through. So this is how far we've come with the Mt. Gox issue, with people losing billions of dollars, and it says 90% of the remaining Bitcoins tied up in bankruptcy. Wow. So this was back in 2013, and this is what lost a lot of people confidence in the Bitcoin, because people couldn't back then, people couldn't get their money out fast enough. And this article says, yet as Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 41,000 in January, the history of Mt. Gox seems ever important. While there was a loss of 850,000 Bitcoin in 2013, perhaps the closest digital currency came to dying, and it started all with Magic, the card-playing game card gone online, way for users to trade his card over the internet. That was when Jed McCaleb, a developer who created the file-sharing network eDonkey, bought the domain for Magic Gathering Online Exchange, or Mt. Gox for short. And McCaleb's attention turned to Bitcoin a few years later. After its creation in 2009, he realized the method of buying and selling goods weren't decided to convert Mt. Gox into his first exchange for digital assets. In 2010, Van Sessen contacted McCaleb about joining his effort to make Mt. Gox the world's biggest Bitcoin market. After closing eDonkey, McCaleb had moved to Costa Rica to surf and to raise his family. While Van Sessen wanted to do business with Cal, he also wanted to meet him in person first. I took maybe most expensive plane ride to Costa Rican, Van Sessen said, referring to the flight cost him 1,500 Bitcoin at the time, and an airline ticket that was worth $47.8 million at current Bitcoin price. So this was 2013. After sleeping on the floor of McCaleb's house on his futon, the two ended up not seeing eye to eye on Mt. Gox, and Van Sessen hitchhiked 200 miles back to the airport. In 2011, Michaela sold Mt. Gox to a Frenchman named Mark Carpels, and he had to give him half first 6 months revenue, and then he continued to own 12% of. McCaleb said in an interview. McCaleb no longer had any stake in Mt. Gox. Well, back in the U.S., Van Sessen, still convinced that Mt. Gox was a once-in-a-lifetime investment. He co-founded Coin Lab in 2012, and early Bitcoin pioneers such as Roger Ver and Barry Silbert as investors. And Ver actually lived just down the street from Mt. Gox in Tokyo. And the summer of 2012, Coin Lab had a deal to buy Mt. Gox outright from Carpels for $10 million. So this was the first exchange, Mt. Gox, right before it was hacked. And like I said, there's people that have been holding on to this whole Bitcoin dream for that long, for over last 9 or 8 years. And then, like I said, this whole situation with Mt. Gox being hacked and most of the coins being lost, it did a lot to lose confidence in this whole Bitcoin thing. There's even a wiki on it. It says Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin exchange based in Tokyo, Japan, launched in 2010, and by 2013, it was handling over 70% of Bitcoin transactions worldwide. So this was a situation where it wasn't quite legal, and it surely wasn't legal in the United States, but people were using Bitcoin as a place to store value. And, you know, a lot of people lost a lot of wealth, and it went through a lot of issues, and you know, finally it came to the U.S. We have Coinbase, and we have Binance, we have BlockFi, we have all these fancy exchanges, and so now people are happy, people are confident. You can come on here in Bitcoin, and you literally can buy $5 worth of Bitcoin. So if you look at the all-time, looks like Coinbase goes back as far as January 7th, 2014, where Bitcoin was trading for $759. $759. That was how cheap it was back then, but you could not have purchased it with the ease that you can today. So I would say the modern Coinbase became available to most people somewhere around 2017, 2018. Now, a lot of people didn't know Bitcoin was going to make it. And like I said, 2017, it started to become a thing. I actually had a good friend. He bought some, and, you know, he had 2 of them, I think, for around $4,000 each. Today, he has well over $200,000 in value from those 2 Bitcoins. But yeah, Coinbase hasn't been around that long. They since got approval, and they're still trying to get approvals for a lot of other things. But look at this. You know, just in a few years, from January of 2018, it's nearly, you know, 5x, from $10,000 up to $60,000. So it's nearly 6 times the value in just 2-3 years. So this is Bitcoin price. And then the other coin, I mean, I could talk about all the coins. Ethereum has a very similar story where, you know, just over a year, not even, you know, 5 years. If you look at the, let's see, back in 2017, Ethereum was trading at $48. So literally, I mean, it's still another almost 100 times worth more today than it was just 3 years ago. So Ethereum, and like I said, I own Ethereum, I own Bitcoin, I own some Shiba Inu, but all these new coins are very valuable, and they're very volatile and unknown. But if you just look, I mean, Shiba Inu up 244%. So this is a cool thing where, you know, within a few years, if you own a couple of these Bitcoins, you can see a mass appreciation. Now, the key is to find one, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or it's Solana, or even Dogecoin. Hey, look at Dogecoin again. Dogecoin is traded at 27 cents. And at one point, it was nearly trading at 58 cents. So that was earlier this year where Dogecoin was trading at 60 cents. It's trading at half the value. So that's the only understandably risk is some of these coins that are spiking up 50%, up 100% in 1 week. You gotta understand there's a high risk in, hey, back in May, Dogecoin was trading at 74 cents and today is trading at a third of its value. So that's the risk. I mean, you could diversify and spread your risk out. Check out these coins. These coins are going up every day. Some are coming down, but a lot of them are going up over the big picture. So if we look at over the last year, which I already tell people, just invest a little bit, what we call dollar cost averaging. So Bitcoin over the last year is up 300%. Ethereum is up 800%. That means it's 8 times worth its value. You have Cardano up 10 times its value. And you have Dogecoin up, again, 10 times its value. And the newest one, Shiba Inu, which is up, 36 times its value. So check out some of these coins. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but one of these coins are going to go up dramatically more in the next year. It is rumored that this $60,000 for Bitcoin will go up to $100,000 by the year end. So again, check this out, this article by Jack Dorsey, where he's saying that hyperinflation will happen soon for the US and the world. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and leave your comments below.